Okay, back at the kitchen counter, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to be working with resin and trying to make a nebula painting with a dark background using mica pigments to get the shimmer and the glittering bits. So the resin is just resin. It's a 2-part epoxy resin. It will be 2 times the part A to 1 times the part B. The main colour will be a cool blue from Global acrylic paints, and in some of it I will mix in a dark blue mica so that I'll get the 2 colours, one with shimmer, one without. An accent of bright blue, it's a beautiful blue, bright blue green, and then I've been using this white pearl mica, which is absolutely gorgeous and actually looks gold, a very mellow gold. So I'll be mixing that in. Now I will fast forward through the mixing of the resins, only because that happens really quickly and might be a bit tedious. But you will see how much I put in things, and then I will have some clear. Now ultimately I will put some white wispy highlights on it, but I think I will do that as a second layer. I'm using a hairdryer, and when you get to that many colours, you tend to disperse the mica a little bit too much. Now I am a bit klutzy with resin, so I have all my gloves, my windows are wide open. I use Glad Wrap around my hairdryer so that I don't end up with resin all over it, and the same with my torch. You'll see that I double glove. That's not for any other reason other than I have little hands, and these gloves are too big, and these gloves are too sticky, so I don't like these on my skin. Okay, so let's get into the mixing. I will be mixing more resin than I need, only because I want some spare to fix things. So I'll be mixing up a total of 210 grams of resin. So it'll be 40 grams of part A, 140 grams of part A, and then 70 grams of part B, to give me a total of 210. Now you should actually, according to Just Resin, measure these by volume rather than by weight, but I've discovered that I'm really bad at that, so I prefer the weight, but check with the brand of resin that you're using. So I will mix this for a couple of minutes. Until it looks properly mixed and there are no stringy bits. Now it's a little bit cooler today, so this resin will take a bit of warming up and some mixing to go clear. Make sure you scrape down the side of the cup and that you scrape the bottom of the cup. Now I'm holding it underneath because the temperature of my hand will help warm the resin slightly. Now I don't know if you can actually see that, but there is still some stringy bits in this, so I will keep mixing. I find resin quite difficult to work with because there is a time limit on how much you can play with the resin. So I tend to panic a bit and rush things. So get to know your resin and understand the time limits that you can put on things. Now that's mixing quite nicely, and there doesn't seem to be any stringy bits or unmixed things. I'll do that just a bit more just to warm it up. Resin to me is one of those things that you learn by doing, and I'm no expert at this by any stretch. I like some of the results that you can get, and while I'm doing this I'll just explain what I've done to the canvas. This is a 12 by 16 canvas, 16 inch canvas. I've used black gesso, excuse me. I've used black gesso and I've sanded it smooth to give me a dark background. So this is going to be my dark blue, this is going to be my dark blue with mica, and then my little accents of bright blue and green. So I'll just distribute how much I think I'm going to use of each colour. Predominantly the dark blue. With accents of the bright blue and the pearl. Maybe a bit more than that. Now I'm going to leave myself some clear. Probably a little bit more than I've got. Now clear is actually really good because you can use it to manipulate the colours that you have, you can spread things. Oh. When you put paint in your resin, don't go beyond 10% of the amount of paint to your resin, but mix enough to give you a lovely colour. Now that's just beautiful. Make sure your paint is mixed in well. Scrape it off your mixer and make sure it's all the way through. Now my next one is going to be more of the blue, a little bit less, so that it's more opaque. And then some of the mica powder. A bit hard to get these little bags open with your gloved hands, but you can do it. This is how much mica I'm going to be putting in. And I'm going to mix that thoroughly. Now mica powders are very small particles, so make sure you mix it well and you're not breathing in the particles. I have, like I said, my windows are wide open, and you must have good ventilation if you're not going to use a respirator. I have a fan that I turn on in my kitchen to blow fumes away from me, and if you're at all sensitive, you must use your respirator. I'm not going to be torching this resin so therefore I can be a little bit easier with my safety precautions. Have a look at the shimmery on this. This is almost a glitter. It's like a mermaid green. Beautiful. Again, I'm mixing that thoroughly. Beautiful. You'll see these colours a bit better when I put them on. And the pearl. Again, that much. I know you might be a little bit far away to see the actual mixing of these, but I'd rather you look at the board and you'll see everything that happens there. Mix these powders thoroughly so that you don't get any clumps in your resin. You still have to be sensible about not introducing bubbles to your resin. This is not paint. So look at that, that's just lovely. There's still some clumps in that. Now I have discovered in terms of composition of this that less is more. The hairdryer will move the micas quite wide if you let them. So you can start off with a little bit and spread it out. Alright, let's start the pour. Let me clean away some of this. And I have my spare gloves ready. Now I've learnt from other people that it's quite easy to manipulate resin with your hands. So what I have been doing is creating a bit of interest by using my hands to mix together some of the blues. Look at that, beautiful colours. So I'm going to use my hands to just mix that slightly, taking it out to the edges and giving a bit of interest. And then I will fill in the bits with some clear. Now you can see the grey canvas underneath through these clear bits of resin, but that's okay because we will be covering those with other colours. Now I'll just bring you down quickly so that you can see what I'm talking about here in the way that the micas shimmy through the rest of the blue. Okay, have a look at this. Now they will dry a lot more subtle than you're seeing here, which is why I wanted to show you up close. Okay, let's go back to the pour. So you can see how pretty that looks. Now, so I'm going to do a line of clear. Just a small one. A line of my bright green blue. And maybe a little bit on the corner. and just some scattered bits. They will end up blowing into different things. A line of my gold, it's actually pearl, but to me it looks gold. Now I apologise for the sound in advance. I will turn the volume down on the hair drying. Now this hairdryer is pretty good. It's got a hot setting and it's got a lowish speed setting. So here we go. Now that's about all I'm going to do for it at this stage. It will move. I need to maybe take out some of the edges, but I want to see where it ends up before I do too much more to it. So I'll bring you down to have a look and we'll come back to it. Okay, so here we have. See the shimmery of the bright green, the gold against it. It's a bit hard to see because resin does shine. Some lovely detail, and I think at this stage it looks quite balanced. Very happy with that. We've got a little bit of interest in that green over there, but I think it's very pretty.